Hey, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 online business problems and how to handle them. So number 1, the most common problem that online businesses have is chargebacks and other money disputes. So you have a customer or a client who pays you money and they're somehow upset about your services, or maybe they just need the money, or maybe they're a bad person, but they do a chargeback on the money that they paid you. So if you've never done this before, how this actually works is they pay by credit card or PayPal or something like that, and then they go in and fill out a form to dispute the charge. And how it works is that the money comes out of your account and is held in escrow while the merchant provider company, Stripe or whoever you're using, or PayPal or whatever, will deal with the dispute. And that will take a month and a half, something like that, where that money is being held in escrow. So it comes out of your account. So first you need to be aware that that could always happen to you, that you always want to have enough money in your business checking account such that if any one of your clients reverse the charge on a credit card, it's not going to zero you out. So if you have clients who typically might pay you $2,000 for a package of services, you need to have more than $2,000 in your account at all times, as an example. Now, here's how to handle this. You need to be proactive about this. And the proactiveness, well, besides just keeping clients happy and stuff, the proactiveness is to have a written contract, which is either going to be a formal contract, that's a pieces of paper that people sign, or it's going to be some kind of terms and conditions that your clients or customers agree to, and you can prove they agreed. So I'm not just talking about terms and conditions on your website where there's a link at the bottom and it goes to some page. I'm talking about when they purchase your product, when they purchase your service, they have to click a box that they agree to the terms and conditions, which are linked from there. And then you keep track of that somehow in your system, in your shopping cart system. Because what will happen is the merchant provider will come to you and say, what is your side of the thing? They say that they didn't get the services. They say they didn't get the product. They say that they want a refund. What are your arguments? And you're going to give them proof that you delivered the product, service, whatever it is. And then you're going to show the contract. And so you need to have that contract. And that is the best way to possibly win the dispute. If you don't have a written contract or written terms and conditions that you can show that they manifested to the agreement, it's going to make it really difficult for you to prove up your case with the merchant provider. Number 2 is intellectual property infringement. So we're talking about trademark or copyright infringement. I'm specifically here talking about someone accusing you of infringing them. That's actually probably more common than you having to write a letter to stop someone from infringing you. And I say it's more common because a lot of times if you get your registered trademark, you register your copyrights, a lot of times you end up not needing to enforce it at all, or they're very, very rare. But it's very common for a brand new business to accidentally be infringing the copyrighted works of others or infringing the trademarks of others. So how do you stop this from happening? Well, the first thing is, for trademarks especially, for branding, you do a search. And I've talked about this in many other videos. You do a search in the trademark database, you do a search on Google to see who else is using not just that exact phrase or word or whatever it is, but anything like it, okay? That's gonna help you a lot. Just because you get a domain name does not mean it's okay for you to use it. You have to actually do a search. Now, of course, it'd be great to pay a search company to do it, to pay a lawyer to do it, but at least do it yourself, okay? At least do it yourself. The second thing here is, do not rely on AI or people you hire to create things for you, to create logos for you to trademark, to write articles, to get pictures, whatever. And then you just use that without knowing if you have the rights. AI, human people, Google, whatever, they are not a place to get content from and know that you have the right to use it. So first, you should not be having AI create something for you to use in your business. Like, that is a intellectual property minefield. And you don't want to be the test case for that. Let the law get worked out. In some years from now, maybe it will be, and then you can come back to it. I mean, I think a lot of AI photography is the most ugly stuff ever. But putting that aside, assuming you could actually create something that isn't terrible, and also for things like blog posts and stuff, AI can write a half decent blog post. It's copying the content from stuff out there, not word for word, but that's where it gets stuff from, because all it does is it regurgitates patterns that is found out there. So it actually may be committing copyright infringement. You don't want that put onto you. So when you pay a person, or you use AI, or you get an image from Google search, whatever, you have to make sure you legally have the right to use it. Typically what you're going to do is pay for the thing in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just a company that has all kinds of images and you pay them, a license, some kind of monthly fee for a certain number of points or whatever, so you can use the images, etc. Or it's something where you pay a person to create content for you, and then you want them to be certifying to you that they have the rights and they've assigned those rights to you or licensed those rights to you. And that if you get sued, they will step in. So there needs to be a contract that says that they're indemnifying you. So let's go into number 3. Number 3 is bad reviews. This can happen in a couple different ways. One is someone leaving bad reviews for you on Yelp or some Google, whatever, some third party site. The other is someone who is really after you and they create an entire website about how much they hate you or something like that, which I've also seen. So the first thing is you need to have clear policies and steps that you're using to handle bad reviews. And you need to be approaching it in a very calm, not personal way. The best way to handle reviews that I've seen with people with bad reviews is if it's on, Yelp or Google or Amazon or whatever, is when someone addresses the problem. And how you address the problem really depends on what the review is and what the product or service is that you're selling. It may be addressing the problem of the product. You fix the thing and then have them update the review. It could be something where you just address it in your reply to them. It could be where you're actually not trying to fix that person in the sense of make them happy, because they're never going to be happy and you already know this because you know what this was about. But you would put in a comment that is addressing the situation for the third party person, the other person who's reading it. The big issue there is you need to be calm and not take this personally. Or if you take this personally, give yourself some time and do some mental health work on it so you can approach it from a place of not taking it personal. Now, that's different if someone sets up obviously an entire website. If someone sets up an entire website, you may need to approach it a different way, which is how are they using your name and how are they using your content? Now, in the United States, people have free speech where they can state their opinion, and as long as they haven't lied about facts, they can state their opinion. But did they lie about facts? If they lied about facts, or if they violated your trademarks, or violated your copyrights, maybe you could do something about it. And I say maybe because it really does depend on the exact specific facts of the situation. Now, the third thing that I didn't even mention in my little list there is that if it is a comment on a site you control, so for example, YouTube, if someone leaves a critical comment below one of my videos, it depends on the context of that comment how I handle it. If it's something that is more of a constructive criticism type of thing, then I can address it and be like, hey, yeah, you know what? I agree with you. We should do this thing. Or, there's a reason I didn't do that in this video. It's because of this. Or actually, I did do a video about that other thing that you think I should do. It's here, whatever. On the other hand, I have clear policies about what comments are not acceptable on my channel. And they're posted in my description and other places. If someone is hostile, are aggressive, or uses curse words, or says racist stuff, and yes, that happens. Yes, that happens. I just delete it. It is gone. I'm done with that. No one's going to be on my channel putting racist stuff in the comments. Now, sometimes that might happen if it's a reply to another comment and I actually don't see it because it was too long ago, but if I see it, you're out, dude, because that ain't happening on my channel. I have a clear policy about it, and I will, even if I didn't have a clear policy, I'm deleting racist stuff. So it's important to have a clear policy, and then you don't have to get upset about it. You look at that and you're like, racist, bam, gone. Then you're done. And you can move on about your day. So that's the big thing there, is having clear, calm, not take it personally kind of policies. The fourth problem is about taxes and compliance. It's about deadlines, things that you're supposed to do. When you start a business, even if you have a sole proprietorship or partnership, or especially if you have an LLC corporation, you're going to have things you have to do on a regular basis, whether it's paying taxes, whether it's filing your annual report or statement of information with the state, doing your annual business license or business tax with the city or town. etc. What I recommend is as you're starting up your business, you're going to be setting up these new things. They will give you the deadlines for the future. So when you set up your LLC, they'll tell you, oh, your annual report is due every year on July 1st or whatever it is, or this thing is due every year on the month of the anniversary of when you formed your business or got your business license or something. Then you know that deadline's on there, and you immediately, when you tell you that the first time, you put it in a Google Calendar or some other calendar and have it pop up to remind you of the deadline. That is one of the best ways to keep track of all these things because they all have their own deadlines. And even if you pay, for example, an accountant or tax preparer to do your taxes, you're the one who's responsible legally for making sure stuff gets done. So you need to have it in some kind of calendaring system to remind you. So set that up from the beginning. The fifth big problem that people have is disputes with co-founders. So if you set up a business by yourself and you're one owner business, then this doesn't apply to you. But if you set up a business where you have partners or the other shareholders or members, if you formed a corporation or LLC, lots of drama can happen. Lots of drama can happen. So how do you handle that? How can you be proactive? The number one thing to do is have a written agreement, a written partnership agreement, or it may be a operating agreement for an LLC. It may be a shareholders agreement for a corporation. It may look differently depending upon how that business is legally configured. You need to have a written agreement with the other partners, co-owners about how this is going to work. Some of this is going to have things like who's going to do what, how much time you're going to spend on it. Is this going to be your full-time gig or not? How people are going to get paid, what the officers are going to be. And then also, what if something goes wrong? How is voting going to work? What does everyone have to agree to unanimously versus just majority rules? If there's a member or owner of the business that has a minority shareholder, like you have a 40-40-20 business, the 20% person never gets a say legally because they can't vote for things by themselves. And then it ends up 2 against 1 and it creates lots of drama. What if one of the people becomes disabled? What if they die? I've actually had one time where one of the partners became religious in this way where they wanted to give up all of their possessions and it became a big problem in the business. You don't know what can happen. There could be a big dispute. How is that going to work? All this stuff goes in the partnership agreement. It's kind of like a prenuptial agreement except for a business. I also recommend going along with that. You have some setup for regular meetings with the other partners. And it could be once a week. It could be every day for 5 minutes. It could be once a month. I mean, it depends on the kind of business you have and how much communication you have with each other. This isn't a meeting to talk about your clients or your customers or the products. This is a meeting to talk about the business overall, the big picture of the business. How are things working on the business? How's the money doing? How are the taxes getting paid? Like the actual underneath behind the scenes of the business, that's what I'm talking about. So it is something that the 5 minutes a day stand-up meeting kind of meeting probably is going to be more about clients and customers. You want something where you're going to meet on a regular basis to talk about what's going on in the business so everybody is on the same page and you can hopefully stop misunderstandings before they start. If possible, having a clear set of steps for how disputes will be handled would be very good. And it may be the first step is 30 days of negotiation with each other. The next step is you agree to do a mediation, which a mediation is where a mediator sits down with the parties and helps you come to your own agreement. They're just there to facilitate. They don't make a decision for you. And their mediation can result in people being able to keep working together. Or an arbitration, where arbitration is like a judge, and a lot of times they are judges, but it's private dispute. It's not in public court, and it's much faster than a lawsuit, much cheaper than a lawsuit. It can be really appropriate for disputes between partners in a business. Arbitration can be great for that. And it will happen a lot faster, and you probably then usually wouldn't work together after that because that was a very contentious thing to do an arbitration, but you can get it resolved so both of you can go on, or all of you can go on with your life. Again, this is attorney Elizabeth Potts Weinstein. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, feel free to post them in the comments below and I'll try to point you in the right direction. Thumbs up if you found this video helpful. Subscribe for more videos like this. And if you like even more connection or have more questions, you can join the Patreon or the free Discord. Links are below. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.